As sure as night follows day, the seasons change, and with it, our landscape. As winter gently melts away, we welcome glorious spring.
I've just had a fairly panic-stricken call from Jackie, who's got an alpaca that she's very worried about. It suddenly started choking, and she's asked me to go as a matter of great urgency. So I'm rushing off there to hopefully get there in time.
Julian's not wasting any time getting to Jackie Barlow's place.
This morning, I've let them out to eat the grass. A couple of them have sneaked back into the barn, and I must have left the lid off the food bin, or they've pushed it off and gorged themselves on solid food. They're struggling to breathe and foaming at the mouth, and so it's really distressing to see them.
It's probably some food that's got stuck the wrong way if it's been inhaled and it's gone down the windpipe rather than down the throat and down into the esophagus. It can be very serious, and I have seen animals in this sort of instance die from choking to death. Which one is it there's one there that's frothing. Oh gosh.
The youngsters with eyes bigger than their bellies are Gavroche and Francesca.
Both these alpacas are really seriously ill. They have eaten too much food which has got lodged down the gullet, and it's making it very difficult for them to breathe. And if we don't manage to clear things and make the breathing easier, then there's a very real chance that they both might die. Have you tried to get your fingers in there at all?
No, I've just put some water in.
I can't feel anything in his mouth. There we are, there's quite a lot coming out. That's a good boy. That's it, cough it out, old fella. It really is gonna, there we are. Ugh, that's it. It's gonna look messy, but it just needs to come out where we can. It smells, doesn't it? In essence, the quicker we can get things cleared, the better. And it depends in part exactly where that obstruction is. If it's in the windpipe, then clearly there's a very real risk of asphyxiation, and that can happen in a matter of seconds. So we need to get things cleared as soon as we can.
That is easier said than done.
Getting on that.
We haven't got in yet.
On the other side of town is a local animal park, home to more than 20 different species. Certainly enough to keep the Yorkshire vets on their toes.
So we've got a couple of sheep today. The eyes have gone a bit cloudy and looking a bit blind in their eye, and one looks quite sore. It's a bit bloody as well. The animals mean a lot to us here, so as soon as they show any signs of being ill, we call the vet straight away and get them out.
Do they have names?
They don't need to, no.
Oh, are you nameless? Oh, never mind. We'll have to have... Oh, you're going to attack me? You attack, do you? Yes, you do, don't you? All right, then, I won't take the mickey out of you. You're pretending to be hard, but you're not really, are you? All right, OK, you made your point. How long have they been poorly, these eyes?
Just a few weeks.
What a growth there on that underside of that eyelid. Very unusual. I certainly wasn't expecting to see that. I don't think this little sheep can see very well at all. I think there's change in the other eye as well on the lens. Now, this eye, yeah, there's a keratitis there, which is like the cloudiness on the front of the eye. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try injecting some antibiotics and some steroid. How much it's going to resolve, I don't know. Right. I don't know, but let's give it a try. Now, we'll have to hold it pretty still for this, so we'll try and get this into a lower lid. That's it, that's lovely. There, we're done. The other one, I just want to have a look at the other one. Now, I think this is completely different. Our problem here is on that top lid, we have a growth on the eyelid, and that's grown under the eyelid, and it's causing the eye to be very inflamed. What I'd like to do with that is just put some ordinary antibiotic into the eye itself, and I want to see if it's going to settle. I don't think it is. Now, it may be that I can remove it, but I want to give it a week or so first to see, because it's quite inflamed as well, and we'll just see if it's going to go down. Right, good. You are cheeky, aren't you? I do like you. If you were a bit bigger, you could do a lot of damage.
When choosing pets, most people opt for cats or dogs.
It's a really sad face.
Steve and Jean Green love both, but they have a particular passion for cattle. Peter's here to meet the latest additions to their family.
Peter, can I say hello to Sage and Onion? They've got a tad of pneumonia.
Because they were doing all right when they first came in, weren't they?
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
I'm going to catch the bleeders first.
Yeah.
This is Onion.
Onion. Yeah.
Onion's got a tad of pneumonia. I just want to make sure they haven't got high temperatures and this, that and t'other wrong with them. And the lungs are sound. So I don't want to lose them.
Yes, big temperature, 103.5. If this calf was fit and well, it wouldn't stand like this.
No, the baby. You're beautiful like your Onion.
With little ones like this, they can soon go downhill, can't they, Jane?
Faster than lightning.
Yes. I'm going to give her something to get her temperature down and some antibiotic.
OK.
And let's see if that should sort her out. What's good about coming out to Steve and Jean is that they catch things very early. And all vets like to get onto cases early, and I'm fairly optimistic that if we treat Onion now, that things will be absolutely fine. Are you OK? That mind your head?
One down.
Perfect.
One to go.
Come on, you. Right, we'll go in this corner then. Come here.
You got it?
I've got it, Jean.
I've got this end.
You usually end up with that end, don't you?
Right on with shitty end. Is the old girl.
Interestingly, Jane, with this one's brighter, but its lungs sound worse than Onion's. I wasn't expecting that. Are you all right at your end, Steve?
Yeah, all right, Peter.
Hey, look, she's got clean end.
Right, let's have a look. Yeah, it is high, this, Jane. 104.5, yeah. The fact that she's got a big temperature is a good thing in many ways. If you go to an animal whose lungs sound blooming awful and they have a normal temperature, it sometimes means that the immune system isn't reacting as you would want and they're not getting on top of things. So the fact she has a big temperature is a good thing, and with a bit of luck we'll get a good response. But of the two, I'm more worried about Sage than I am about Onion.
Let him go.
Yeah, let him go, Steve.
Get up.
Yeah, that's good.
So do you have a tad of pneumonia?
This time of year, you get, some days are quite mild and muggy, and then other days it's fit, like now, it's fit to starve you to death now, isn't it?
Fit to freeze balls off a breast monkey.
Oh, Mrs. Green, yes.
Yes. Better, right, wouldn't you be there?
Earlier, Julian was called to an emergency. The lives of two young alpacas are in danger after a momentary lapse of self-control.
Well, what's happened, they've broken into the feed bin and they've eaten way too much food. And so all of the esophagus from the stomach down there all the way up here is impacted with food. And some of that's getting stuck in the back of the throat as well. So if it is so full that it goes down into the windpipe, then that's really very serious and animals can asphyxiate. So I'll get my pipe and we'll try and run some fluid down. That's the best way of dislodging it completely. So this pipe, I'm going to run some fluid into his mouth, and that will hopefully... Oops, you're all right.
Strong for a little one.
We haven't even done anything yet, mate. I'm pushing this right down into his stomach to see whether we can just dislodge it with a pipe. So that's quite clear, actually. You can hear that noise there. That means the passage to his stomach is free. So that is a good thing in one way, because it means that there's no obstruction down to his stomach. It might well mean that there's something stuck down his windpipe though, which is not so good, because I don't know how I'll get that out.
Will he die?
Not necessarily, but we'll see how it goes over the next few minutes. Gavroche is making some pretty terrible sounds. It's obviously very difficult for him to breathe. And some of the green liquidised food that's been stuck down his throat, that will have gone down into his windpipe and down into his lungs. And some of the noise he's making is because there's fluid in his lungs, and that's why he's so agitated and so upset today.
It's bad news for Gavroche, but how's Francesca doing?
I'm listening to make sure I'm down esophagus rather than the windpipe. Yeah, so she's got food lodged in esophagus. That's as far as it'll go. So we should be able to flush that through. I think that sun blocked it, actually. So that's what's in there. That's kind of liquidy.
Francesca is lucky. Her windpipe is clear. For Gavroche, the outcome might not be so good.
I fear in this little one, there'll be all that fluid will be down on his lungs now, which we won't be able to get out. What we might do, if we can hold it upside down, it'll be a bit ridiculous, but I think it'll help anything to dribble out. And then I'll pat his throat. Yeah, there's not a lot coming out, I'm afraid, Jackie. But we'll give him some things. We'll give him some antibiotics, because the problem is when fluid like that goes onto the lungs, you can get something called aspiration pneumonia. And that's also a bad problem to have. But at least his esophagus is clear, which is...
Yeah.
Well, both of them we've cleared. Francesca looks a bit better now, doesn't she?
Yeah.
I think the problem is with animals like this and concentrated food, it's so much more tasty than grass and than hay. So if they do have the chance to eat lots of it, then they kind of get stuck in. They don't really know when to say no. It's a bit like us with cake. Well, we're not completely out of the woods. I'd be happier when they're back to normal and not frothing quite so much. I mean, looking at them now, they just look so innocent, don't they, all of them? It wasn't me. It was you, though. I can tell that, by the froth around your face.
At a local animal park, the sheep are getting a checkup from Peter. Peter will have to keep his guard up, as last time, the sheep had their sights set on something precious.
Now lad, you had a bit of attitude the other day, didn't you? One of them did. Yeah, one of them was wanting to boss me out the pen. Yes, you had a bit of attitude, didn't you? You did. Well, that's a response better than I dare have hoped for, really. To be fair, it was starting to resolve. When I looked at it, you could see it was starting to get better. I was like, oh, I thought I was going to be seriously attacked there. This little madam wants to attack me. She's, her eyes much, much better. A lot of the cloudiness has gone. There's a little bit left still. But it's resolving pretty well, so I don't think it needs any more intervention from us, so we'll do now. Now this one, I wasn't sure about this one. That's a lot bigger than last week. The inflammatory reaction on the upper eyelid is more pronounced than it was a week ago when we checked it. I am suspicious that it could be an off lesion, that, you know, which is a pox virus infection that we get in sheep. Let's just put some antibiotic ointment in once a day and leave it at that. Let's give it another week or so. The other possibility, which would be less common, would be a carcinoma, a nasty skin tumour. So if it was a carcinoma, which would be very rare, then it'll be getting worse. But I think it's worth persevering, because if it is an off lesion, it'll get better on its own. The outlook for this one really rests on it being an off type or inflammatory type lesion rather than cancerous. So I'm just going to reserve judgment for a bit longer.
Back at the surgery,
Are you ready for this?
Julian is facing one of his toughest challenges ever.
Come on, boy. Bertram's come in today. He's got very nasty and rapidly growing tumour above his eye, and it's really attached to the eyelid. He's ever so nice. But look at that, that's not ever so nice, is it?
Yeah.
Not quite sure what we're going to do with that. There is an eye under there somewhere.
There is.
I saw him about a week or two ago, and that's grown really just in a matter of a few days. And that's always symptomatic of a very aggressive kind of cancer. And as always, the sooner you get these things off, the better the outlook. Come on, Bertram, this way.
Behind every loving dog is a devoted owner. And Bertram is no exception.
He's one of my favouriteest dogs ever. I've had them for nearly 35 years. And he's just very, very, very special. I will cry. I didn't want to bring him down, but he has to have this lump removed because it doesn't look very good, right across his eye, and it's doing his sight no good at all. So I've had to bring him down today. I've put off and put off, but it has to be done.
And then hoist him on the table.
Yeah.
It's always an anxious time for owners when their pets are left here for surgery, and I think in this case particularly, Liz is so attached. I know when I was chatting to her earlier on, she actually has been in tears, such as the emotional trauma of today.
Good boy.
All right, Bertram.
Boy.
Anaesthetic, I hate anaesthetic. So I have lost a basset with anaesthetic.
Is he still on?
Yeah.
Let's take that.
He's got his own bed in my bedroom. He's got his single bed, his cover, everything. Is it just something about him? I don't know.
I don't even know what I'm going to do with that. It's very hard. It's about as big as an egg. And under there, his eyeball is actually hiding under there. And that is all tumour there. And really horrible. And all that needs to come out to solve his problem. And if that was on his another part of his body, it would be fairly easy. We simply cut round it in an elliptical way, and then it'd be off. And with all this spare skin that we see on bloodhounds, it would be pretty easy to bring the skin back together. So poor old Bertram has got a tumour in exactly the worst place, because with it being on the eyelid, there really isn't any leeway with tissue there. So that's going to make it very difficult to fix, and I'm not quite sure whether it's even going to be possible.
Julian is prepping Bertram the bloodhound for surgery.
Come on, Bert. Got you.
A large lump close to his eye needs to be removed.
At the moment, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do it. It's literally in about the worst place it could be on an eye, right on the lid. And I think what I'm going to have to do is take away the tumour and with it half of the upper eyelid. Now, in a normal dog, that would mean the lid wouldn't close because there wouldn't be enough space to bring the edges of the wound together. But in Bertram's case, because he's got so much spare skin around his face, I think that might make it feasible. But I'm just going to have to hope, I think.
Bertram's owner and best friend, Liz, is reluctant to leave his side.
I feel anxious, a bit sick, big lump in my stomach. I don't usually wait around, but I don't know, I feel as if I need to today.
Oh, the goodness. Well, I've just started making the first incision, and I have to say it's not particularly becoming any more evident as to what I'm going to do. Sometimes when you start operating like this, it becomes evident that it's going to be either easier than perhaps we first thought, or more difficult. And at the moment, I'm not really getting any clues as to how I'm going to do it. There's quite a bit of blood, as you'd expect with this kind of thing. This is where we get the first glimpse of the eyeball. Sacrifice the eyelid, and possibly my thumb if I'm not careful. What I need to do is take it as close to there as I possibly can to preserve as much eyelid tissue as I can. I've basically got to attach that back to that to reform the upper eyelid. But that's once I've managed to get the thing off. I'm still some way away from doing. Never seen one like this before.
I got him when he was about 3, and he was a really nasty dog when we first got him. He's had so many horrible things happen to him. I mean, he was in this big container for months with a bitch. Had a full litter, the pups all died, and never saw daylight, you know. And I think because I've brought him round to the way he is now, that's another reason why he's so special.
That's a big blood vessel there. That's the reason why the tumour's grown so rapidly. We need to clamp around that. Thank you. Then, I think we're nearly at the point of having it off. So that's the tumours off now, which is the first part of the job. And the second part is somehow to put that back together. So if that was a wound that was anywhere else on the body, it would be quite easy to do, but given that it's right on the eye, it's not going to be so easy.
Yeah, we're on our way back to see a sheep, which I've seen recently. The sheep has a lesion on its eyelid, which it wasn't clear clinically whether it was inflammatory or whether it was something more sinister, i.e. cancerous. If it's cancerous, then the outlook is pretty poor. It won't be operable, and it's pretty much bad news for the sheep.
Hoping for the best are their fellow farmyard friends.
Now then, are you going to attack me, are you? Blooming heck. Isn't nature a wonderful thing, giving a bit of help? Good, I'm tickled pink, because I wasn't sure whether we'd be writing a death certificate. I'm very happy to see this little lass today, because I wasn't sure which way it was going to go. I thought we might have been writing a death certificate, so I'm very, very happy. Now she can go back to her mates now and start grazing again, and so I've got a very happy sheep. I think a very happy farmer, so I'm very happy. Good. I'm really chuffed with that. There's nothing gives us greater pleasure than when our patients get better. Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Back at the practice, Julian is nearing the end of Bertram's operation.
The lump's off, and I've managed to reoppose the edges of the eyelid. So the critical thing is the shape of the eyelid itself. So you always close that first to make sure that's as accurately opposed as possible. I mean, we'll get a better idea, I think, when we've finished putting the last few stitches in, but I think his vision's going to be, well, whatever it's like, it's going to be an awful lot better than it was before. I mean, you couldn't even see his eyeball before. Well, that's the operation now finished. It's not perfect, and his eye's about half the size that it was. The lids are much smaller, but it's actually come together quite well. We can see his eyeball for the first time in a long time, and this should heal up quite nicely, and I think all in all that's pretty successful considering. I'm fairly pleased with that. What we always do when we get these things after we've operated is to cut into it and see what's inside. This will be hard and fibrous, and we'll send that off to the lab. They'll tell us exactly what it is and whether it's likely to come back or not. I think probably not. We've got it all off. It's all in entirety here. So that'll go off to the lab this afternoon, and we get the results back usually in a few days' time.
I feel relieved that he's fine, and obviously the sickly feeling's gone. It's just, you know, something if you're on the edge of something, you don't know whether it's going to go one way or the other. So you're always on edge, waiting. I just feel brilliant now, and that he's fine. I can smile again. When I see him walk through the door, it'll be brilliant.
Come on, it's this way. Good boy. That's a good boy.
Hello, Bo.
There he is.
Oh, you're not lovers anymore. Oh, it's a nice one. Oh, look at his face.
He has been wagging his tail a bit, but and he can see now, because before it was so big it was obscuring his eye, yeah. So just take it easy, and we should see him in about a week just to check how it's settling down.
Oh, I feel brilliant. I feel it's not life-threatening now, and I'm happy that he's home. You know, he is an oldish dog, but let's hope he gets another few years in him. Won't we, son? Huh? Even though you're in the hut. Yeah, I've got your electric blanket ready. All ready. You're supposed to smile. Yes, you are.
Only three.
Peter and wife Lynn have popped round to see the Greens.
Are you in, Mrs. Green?
Come in.
We just called to see a young man.
I'm coming.
It's a very special occasion.
Oh, well, I've never, I'm sure as I was an observant, I've never noticed till the other day what you always have on.
Oh, that's lovely, Peter.
Can you see little emblems on?
Yes,
Come on.
ah.
Oh, it's a Yorkshire tie.
Yorkshire birds are best.
Yeah,
that's-
Yorkshire tie. Well, you know, I never noticed till the other day that you always wear a tie.
Always wear a
Always
tie.
smart,
Yeah.
aren't you?
Unless it's really hot.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
Good. Well, we've just nipped in to see Mr. Green today because it's Mr. Green's 88th birthday. We've brought him a present. I've got myself one at the same time. I bought a tie with the Yorkshire rose on, and I noticed Mr. Green always wears a tie even when he's out working, and I thought it would be an ideal present for him, a new tie. So we've got matching ties now, myself and Mr. Green. Lynn, look at this, from Mrs. Green. On your birthday, husband, it's not easy being amazing, wonderful and perfect. But if you need any tips, you know where to find me.
I think you better start asking.
Steve isn't the only friend that Peter's here to see.
We're going to go and see St. Julian. Very discreet, lad. Why up? And he went right over.
Don't you be going house over?
You think they've done any good?
Yes. Different again, aren't they?
Oh, happy, go lucky.
Bright eyes, alert, ears up. Very strong, healthy calves, those, Jane, aren't they?
The two beauties, aren't they?
Aren't they? Yes.
But
The best
yeah.
you've had for a long time, really. It was nice to call down and see Steve on his 88th birthday and drop him a present in. I was just interested to see how these two were getting on and make sure they're picked up again, but don't need to examine these two. They look in fine Yorkshire fettle. So all very good at the Green household, which makes me very happy.
I'm going back to check on the two alpacas that were very, very poorly. They were choking on food that they'd eaten too much of, and they were both in a pretty precarious way. Gavroche was the little guy who was affected most severely, and I was very worried that the fluid had gone down into his lungs, and that would cause a nasty condition called aspiration pneumonia. So that's really why I'm keen to go back today to check and make sure that everything's in good order. Morning. Right, so how long did it take him to get back to normality?
About 3 or 4 hours. Yeah, couldn't breathe, and then he just sat down really quiet.
Just want to have a listen to his lungs if we can.
Please, John.
Good boy. That's perfect. Completely clear. Nothing down there now, no noise at all.
Relief. So you don't think he's going to get the pneumonia? Oh, that was a lucky escape, really, wasn't it? Yeah, he's fine, isn't he?
Looks brilliant. So the other patient was Francesca.
She's a lot better. She recovered almost immediately once we'd cleared the blockage, and she just sat quietly.
Yeah, I don't think it had gone down into her lungs to quite the same extent.
Once we cleared it, she calmed right down and she sat quietly, and she was fine.
It was great to see both these little alpacas doing so well. They were pretty much both in a precarious place and right on the brink. To come back and check them today, see they're both happily grazing and looking like perfectly normal animals is brilliant. Yeah, I'm really pleased.
Hard-working farmers are the beating heart of our countryside. Their knowledge has been passed down through generations. But, that said, every now and again, they might need a bit of a helping hand.
Just had a call to go to John Swales at Mount Pleasant. He's quite concerned because he has a cow calving. He's had a feel inside the cow, and the calf's upside down, and she's not presented properly for giving birth, and he wants someone out as soon as possible.
John Swales has been a client of Peter's since his Harriet days. He's an experienced and well-respected cattle breeder.
When I first came to it, it's been trying to calve for 2.5 hours, so I thought I'd have a feel inside, and when I felt inside, the calf was completely upside down. And I knew I couldn't put it right, so that's when I caught Peter.
Got it, John. Tend it. Had a bit of good luck there somehow. This calf was upside down. It's coming on its back, and what I've managed to do, I've managed to turn it. If you sort of manipulate the leg and the head at the same time, you can sometimes, if you're lucky, turn them over. Sometimes we try and pull them out on the backs, and they often do self-correct, but it's much better if you can correct them first, so that you've got a normal, what we call a normal presentation, and that's what we should have now. That's it. Just push that back over there.
Now the calf's back in its normal position.
It's quite a thick placenta, really.
Nature can take its course.
Well, you buggy. Look at him pulling away. Doesn't like it at all.
With a helping hand from Peter.
Bull, John.
Go on. No, it's fine.
That's better, isn't it? Eh? It's a bit of a rude awakening, isn't it, my old mate, eh? It's a little bull calf, and he's a good one. He's an absolute beaut, and he's sitting up already, and I think he'll be onto his feet fairly soon, and wanting some supper. It's a lovely sight, isn't it, John? Lovely sight, isn't it? I never ever tire of it. Yeah, my job's done now, getting the baby out. The hard work starts now for the mother, feeding him, and for John, getting him mothered on and make sure he gets a drink of colostrum, his mother's first milk, which will help with his immunity. So the hard work now starts for John and the mother.
Bertram the bloodhound is back at Skeldale.
He's in today just for a check-up really, just to see how it's coming along and there's nothing, no more growths there on his eye, and just to talk about the results of it and see where we go from there.
Hi Liz.
Hiya.
Come through. Bertram, how's he doing?
He's fine. Wait.
Come on, Bert. I tell you what, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? That has healed up brilliantly. And the lump's all gone and it's not grown back. And the eye, I mean, considering how enormous it was, it looks good. It's slightly smaller than the other eye, but to be fair for a bloodhound, having a slightly smaller eye is probably not a bad thing. We sent the lump off to the lab to be analysed, and it did come back as quite a nasty thing called a sarcoma. And I was just a bit worried that having taken it off with that diagnosis that it might grow back again, but I think it's fair to say if that was going to happen we would have seen some regrowth already. So for all it is a nasty tumour to have, it's definitely curative now we've taken it off. The other lumps, there's a lump on Bert's leg and another one down here under his face. These are relatively static. They've not changed really for several years and they're not in anything like as serious a position. So I think it would be fair to presume if they're not changing, they're not growing. It's quite an old dog to be going through several anaesthetics, and I think if we can avoid operating in an old dog, it's probably a fair decision just to sit tight and leave them where they are. What do you think, Bert? What do you think? You're a star, aren't you? Is it all too much hard work? Too much hard work for a bloodhound.
Now Bertram has been given the all clear.
Good boys. Oh, look at this. Good boy.
He can spend the rest of his days living a very happy life.
No, he doesn't like the water at all. Mind, he loves a bath, but he does. I think it's the waves scaring him a bit. Oh! We are a bit wet. He's been brilliant. He's recovered really well. I'm really pleased with the result. It was really hard and a massive lump to take off. It's healed up lovely. There's a good boy. I'm relieved he's back on par again. So, I mean, I love the dog to bits and I love all my dogs to bits, but Bert's quite special. And he always will be, won't you? Special man. If he was human, he'd be my soulmate. And we don't want to see the day, do we, son? No. Not for a long time.